Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe. Now this start video. The new sci-fi dark comedy, Daddy explores an unsettling premise set in a dystopian society where the government dictates who is fit to become a father. The story follows four men who participate in a retreat designed to evaluate their worthiness as future parents. However, upon arriving in the isolated California mountains, the group discovers they've been abandoned without instructions or guidance. As time passes and the isolation intensifies, the men begin to unravel, questioning not only their readiness for fatherhood, but also their sanity and relationships with one another. Directed by Neil Kelly and Jono Sherman, Daddy features a small yet dynamic cast, including Yuriy Sardarov, Jacqueline Toboni, Pom Koch, and Britt Barron. Sardarov, best known for his memorable role as Brian Otis Zvonček on Chicago Fire, plays Sebastian, a man determined to maintain control as the situation spirals into chaos. In an exclusive interview with Screen Rant, Sardarov shares insights into the unique world-building of Daddy, how the confined environment shaped the performances, and his enduring affection for the Chicago Fire cast. In discussing the film's dystopian premise, Sardarov reflects on how Daddy tackles themes surrounding reproductive rights and societal expectations in an unconventional and thought-provoking manner. "I've never seen reproductive rights depicted quite like this in a film," Sardarov admits. He found the underlying mystery of the narrative captivating, particularly as the plot slowly reveals the tension between the state's control and the men's personal desires. The dystopian retreat functions almost like an experiment, examining the men under the microscope of both isolation and observation. This setting adds a psychological edge to the story, as the characters must contend with the oppressive weight of being left without clear instructions or goals. The world building was very intentional and eerie, Sardarov explains, highlighting how the minimalism of the film's setting amplifies the tension and paranoia. Daddy relies heavily on its confined environment to explore the psychological effects of isolation. Set in the remote mountains, the film builds pressure on the characters as they attempt to cope with their circumstances. Sardarov describes the challenge of portraying these effects alongside his fellow cast members. These characters are stuck together and being watched in a confined space, he says. There's nowhere to escape, physically or emotionally. That has a way of peeling back layers you didn't even know were there. Sardarov and the cast approached their performances with careful consideration for how prolonged isolation impacts both the body and mind. "We made a deliberate effort to show the subtle ways that this kind of observation starts to wear on a person," he explains. The film's limited cast size enhanced this dynamic, allowing each actor to fully immerse themselves in the discomfort and unease of the situation. In Daddy, Sardarov plays Sebastian, a character whose response to the retreat is defined by his need for control and dominance. Sebastian believes he's the alpha of the group, Sardarov reveals. His paranoia manifests in this need to constantly prove himself, almost to a delusional extent. This drive to remain composed and authoritative ultimately causes Sebastian to unravel as the film progresses. The dynamic between the four men becomes increasingly strained as their paranoia and insecurities bubble to the surface. Sardarov describes the on-screen tension as both challenging and rewarding to portray. The men don't get along too well in the film, but working with such a small cast was incredible, he says. "We built a real sense of camaraderie, which made the breakdown of those relationships even more impactful." One standout moment in the film occurs when the men struggle to articulate why they want to become fathers. The scene is raw and revealing, offering a glimpse into the characters' deepest vulnerabilities. Sardarov explains that the process of filming this scene was as intense as it appears on screen. "We did multiple takes, and each one felt like peeling back another layer," he says. It's such an honest and uncomfortable moment, because these men are finally forced to confront the question they've been avoiding. Why do they deserve this? While Daddy represents an exciting new direction for Sardarov, the actor remains closely tied to his role as Otis on Chicago Fire. Sardarov's character, Brian Otis Zvonsek, was beloved by fans, and his tragic death in Season 8 left a lasting impact on the series. Reflecting on his time on the show, Sardarov speaks fondly of the experience and his fellow cast members. "We're still mourning Otis' death," Sardarov acknowledges, referring to the emotional response from fans. When asked if he would ever consider returning to the show, he doesn't hesitate. "If the opportunity arose, I'd go back in a heartbeat. Whether it's for a flashback or something else, I'd love to step back into that world and reunite with the cast. That show was, and still is, such a special part of my life." Sardarov's time on Chicago Fire gave him a deep appreciation for the procedural genre, and he remains open to future opportunities in that space, having also appeared in The Rookie and FBI International. Sardarov says he enjoys the structure and storytelling style of procedural dramas. "I'm always interested in projects that challenge me, whether it's procedurals, dark comedies, or something completely different," he shares. Following the completion of Daddy, Sardarov has kept busy with new projects and exploring a variety of roles. While he remains tight-lipped about specific details, he expresses enthusiasm for what's to come. "I'm always looking for stories that push boundaries and characters that scare me a little," Sardarov says. "That's what drew me to Daddy in the first place. It's not often you find a project that's so unsettling and funny at the same time." Sardarov credits the unique premise and collaborative environment of Daddy for pushing him creatively. "It was a chance to explore something completely different," he explains. "The dark comedy aspect allowed us to balance these really intense themes with moments of levity, which I think makes the film stand out." Daddy takes place in a dystopian future where reproductive rights are tightly controlled by the state. 4 men are selected to attend a government-run retreat in the secluded California mountains, where they must prove their worthiness to become fathers. However, upon their arrival, they discover that no guide, instructions, or clear expectations await them. As the days stretch on and isolation begins to take its toll, the men are forced to confront their fears, insecurities, and motivations for wanting to start a family. Daddy blends dark comedy with psychological tension, offering a unique exploration of societal pressures, masculinity, and the human desire for connection. With its thought-provoking premise and intimate cast, Daddy challenges audiences to reflect on the ways societal structures shape personal decisions and relationships. The film showcases Yuriy Sardarov's ability to balance paranoia and humor, delivering a performance that anchors the story's emotional weight. Sardarov's ability to seamlessly transition between genres, from heartfelt procedurals like Chicago Fire to the satirical and unsettling tone of Daddy, underscores his range as an actor. He acknowledges that projects like Daddy provide a space to take risks, challenge audience expectations, and explore stories that provoke thought and conversation. "It's the kind of film that lingers with you after it's over," he shares. "You're laughing one moment, and then the next, you're completely unsettled by what's happening." As Sardarov continues to take on roles that defy convention, his commitment to storytelling remains unwavering. His experience on Daddy allowed him to tap into darker, more complex emotions, while also maintaining the film's offbeat comedic tone. A challenging balance that he executed with precision. Looking ahead, fans of Sardarov can expect him to keep surprising audiences with unexpected and captivating roles. Whether it's through procedurals, comedies, or experimental films, Sardarov's dedication to his craft ensures that his performances will continue to resonate, leaving a lasting impression across genres. With Daddy, he once again proves that he is an actor to watch. Fearless, versatile, and always ready to take on the next challenge. For Sardarov, Daddy represents an opportunity to dive into complex themes and showcase a different side of his acting abilities. His portrayal of Sebastian highlights the fragile nature of control and the chaos that ensues when isolation strips away societal norms. At the same time, Sardarov's enduring connection to his Chicago Fire roots reflects his versatility and enduring appeal as an actor. Whether revisiting beloved roles or tackling bold new projects, Sardarov continues to demonstrate a passion for storytelling that resonates with audiences. As he looks to the future, his work in Daddy solidifies his place as a performer unafraid to embrace the unknown, bringing depth, humor, and heart to every role he takes on.